Hey everybody, Coach Toolshed here, and today we're going to be discussing Red Dead Online. And this is a game that I had high hopes for. I really was interested in getting into the online component for the game. And after playing it for the better part of a week now, I have some thoughts that I'd like to go over. And some of them are good, some of them are bad. But overall, what I'm getting the more and more I play is a mounting sense of frustration. And I actually have encountered a pretty substantial bug, which is also a major problem if it doesn't get fixed, and I'll be going into all of that in just a bit. But first and foremost, we have to discuss the most obvious problem with the game right now, and it's been discussed a lot already this week, and it's the in-game economy. The amount of money you receive for doing different activities is pitiful, and compounded by that 100-fold is that the cost of doing pretty much anything, buying anything at all in this game is absurdly high. And I understand this is a game that they want people playing for a very long time, but it goes past the point where you need to grind to buy one particular item. It's to the point of absurdity like this. Let me give you an example when I realized just exactly how terrible this economy is. There's story missions that they want you to do in the online mode, and at one point they have you travel from one side of the map all the way to the complete opposite end of the map. And if you've played the single player component of this game, you know that this is a very large map, and if you're going to ride from one end on your horse from one side to the other, it's going to take you a very long time, and it's not an enjoyable time at all. And what I realized was, if I went to a fast travel station and tried to fast travel to this point, the cost for me to travel to the location where I needed to start the mission cost more money than the actual payout would be if I completed the mission. Now that is beyond absurd, and this is just a prime example of what people were mostly worried about when it came to this online component for Red Dead 2 was going to be the monetization, because of course Rockstar and Take-Two have to get their greedy little hands in their pockets. The $1 billion+ that they've already recovered from this game certainly isn't enough to keep this going. They're going to have to nickel and dime us every step of the way, and it is a major problem with Red Dead Online right now. And they've already also introduced the premium currency, which you can earn in-game. However, once again, the amount you can do for an activity, it could be as little as 2 cents. And there are several items, some of the higher end items, that are locked, and you can only buy them with the premium currency. They're not even available with the in-game dollar currency that they have. You can only buy it with the premium gold bars currency, which I've seen, and believe it or not, there's already people putting up videos defending the in-game economy, saying there's no problem with it, everyone needs to stop whining. Just further proof, if you're defending this economy, it's just more proof of what I've been saying all along. With some games, people will defend literally anything, and people apparently are okay with activities rewarding you with literally 2 cents. Thanks a lot. And then with the in-game money, just the regular dollars that you get in the game, you might earn 10, 12 bucks for doing an in-game mission, and then you look at the price of some of the guns and horses, and it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars, close to $1,000 for some of the higher end horses. And yes, the horses you ride, the guns you have, are also stuff that you use in competitive play. So it is literally pay to win with in-game currency, because if you have a better horse than the starter horse that you have, you're clearly going to have the advantage in a race. If you have a more powerful gun than the starting weapons that they give you, you're going to have an advantage. And like I said, this is carried over into the competitive PvP modes. It's not just in free roam, it transfers over just like GTA Online, and people had problems with the pay to win that. But in this case, it seems a little bit even more pronounced. And forget about if you want to customize your character or customize your horse or upgrade your camp in any way, because if you've played the single player game, or even if you're dabbling in the online, what you'll know is your outfit is not just a one-piece outfit. It's a hat, it's a scarf, it's a shirt, it's suspenders, it's boots, it's spurs, it's a belt buckle, it's pants, it's a vest, It's a coat. It's like a dozen different pieces that you can customize just for your clothing, and they all cost money individually. Now, you can buy outfits, but those, once again, cost an obscene amount of money, and it will take you hours and hours and hours, dozens of hours, if you want to customize a whole suit and buy different articles of clothing. And it's the same thing if you want to do any upgrades to your horse or change the customization look of your horse. It's going to take you dozens of hours to do all this. And yes, once again, I understand this is an online game that they want you playing for a very long amount of time, but the dollar prices are absurd. They're absurd. You shouldn't expect someone to play the game for 100 hours to get one horse. That's just ridiculous. It's an insult to your player base, and it's an insult to their time, and it just goes to show that you're just trying to dig deeper and deeper into their pockets. But I've gone on long enough about the economy. Let's get into some of the gameplay itself. Let's discuss the game. How about we do that? So if you played at all the 2010 Red Dead Redemption Online version, this is going to be very similar in a lot of ways, and there's also some key differences, but in a lot of ways it's going to be quite the same. You're going to have access to the entire map in free mode, and then you're going to be able to go and do competitive instanced maps for competitive PvP matches or horse races or stuff like that. But for the most part, you're going to be running around in free roam, and you can group up with your team. You can form a posse. You can pay money to form a perpetual posse, and once again, it costs I think $100 in-game dollars to purchase that. And if you want to get a new horse, you're going to have to pay a ton of money for. Okay, I'm getting into the economy again, but everything in the game goes back to it. That's the problem. And you know what? I have to keep talking about it because it still factors into the gameplay. Because when you're out in the world, you're using bullets, and you have to feed yourself just like you do in the regular game. And your horse can die, and you might have to revive it, which cost, I think, $9.50 for a horse revive thing. So you can do an entire mission, and if your horse dies, you'll have just enough money to pay for your bullets and maybe revive your horse if it got shot from under you, or maybe you rode it off a cliff accidentally or something like that if you want to get your horse back. Or you can buy horse insurance, which costs 5 gold bars. 5. That's the premium currency. That is real world money, which, once again, you can't buy the currency yet as of this point in the game. But just to buy insurance for your horse if it gets killed, it costs $5 of real world money, which it's just insane. Even the PvP matches, the weapons that you get, you're using your own ammo in those matches. They don't just spawn you with ammo like most games would. You're using your live ammo from free roam when you're out in PvP matches. So if you were just in a PvP playlist doing deathmatch or whatever over and over again, at some point you're going to have to start re-upping your ammo because all your ammo is going to be gone. And your weapons are going to be degrading. And you're going to have to go and buy gun oil to clean it and keep your weapon smooth. And forget about getting weapon upgrades, because once again, you're paying a small fortune just to upgrade one little part of your weaponry. You can easily play this game for 10 hours and have enough money to maybe do one upgrade. Literally. One upgrade for one part of your gun. Forget about customizing it or anything else. I mean, it's just frustrating because everything in this game goes back to the fact that you just aren't getting money. And it kills any potential fun that I have. There is fun to be had in the game, but it all comes back to this garbage economy. And I'm sorry for harping on it. Geez, it's been 10 minutes of me harping on this economy, but I can't get away from it because it hovers over the entire experience like a dark cloud of just, it's just frustrating. And it's nauseating for the fact that you guys know, everyone knows that they've already cleared $1 billion in revenue off this game, and they still seem intent on nickel and diming us into the ground once again. It's just frustrating to see because 2010 Red Dead Online is one of my favorite gaming experiences that I ever had. I played hundreds of hours of that game and I loved it. And now to see this happen like this, where the entire experience is muddied by people just having to grind for any sort of cash. And you see people like, oh, you can go and do hunting. Well, what if I don't want to just sit there and hunt all day? What if I want to actually do some stuff in the game? What if I just want to play competitive? And what if you're competitive and you're not winning the matches, you're not getting much of a payout? You can do a 10-minute match and get $1. And that's even if you're middle of the pack. You could get nothing. You could get almost nothing if you're not good at the game and you want to do competitive. So then you're forced to do the story missions and missions for strangers. And like I said, the payout for those are just a joke. And it's not just the problem with the payout, it's the cost of everything in the game. Why can't I stop talking about this economy? Jeez. Maybe this should tell you something. And Rockstar, if you want people to stick around with this game, there's some fun to be had here, but you guys have to fix this economy. It's a nightmare. And I really wanted to play a lot of this game, but it's driving me nuts. Oh, and also, let me discuss the really problematic bug that I have is the fact that I can't bond with any of my horses anymore. I spent most of my in-game money to buy another stall for my stable. I bought another horse, and I confirmed even swapping back in between horses, signing in and out of the session. Nothing seems to work. I can't bond with my horse, which means that the horse that I spent all my money on at the start of the game is pretty much useless because I can't get the extra stamina and the extra speed. I can't get those extra bonuses out of having the higher bonding with the horse, and it's just not working. It's just not working at all. And there are other bugs. There's a lot of disconnects. Me and all the people that I've been playing with, we've all had random disconnects. It is relatively frequent. I've seen worse, but I've been disconnected at least probably 4 or 5 times in the past week. And like I said, everyone in the groups that I've been playing with has been having the same issue. Lots of disconnects with this game. There's also a bug. I don't actually have video caught of it, but I've seen it several times. I should have caught a video. That's my fault. People sinking into the ground is a common problem, and so we've also had issues where we're supposed to be in the same session with people and we are appearing on each other's maps, but we're not actually in the world. It's just not working properly. Now, real quickly, I also want to discuss the competitive modes because I also have an issue with the way they've laid out the competitive mode, because you can only play 3 different types of things. You can enter a race series, you can enter a large-scale PvP series, or a small-scale PvP series. You can't select individual activities that you might want to do. Instead, they throw you into sort of a randomized mix of different types of gameplay, and some of the game styles I really cannot stand, and some of them I do like and I would like to keep playing. For example, I enjoy the team deathmatch. I enjoy the control mode where there's multiple territories and multiple teams that have to take over those territories and hold them. I enjoy those, but there's another mode where you get extra points based on the supposed level of difficulty with the weapon you have in hand. So basically, if you have a throwing axe and you get a kill, you get more points than if you get a kill with a rifle. And it's just, I can't stand that mode. And you don't have an option to opt out. You have to leave the lobby altogether if you don't want to play that mode and get thrown into a new lobby. And sometimes they force you into spectator mode in between sessions. Matchmaking in general takes a little bit of time. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I think in this video right here you're about to see, it just doesn't really work for me at all. I get kicked out repeatedly, and this is something that is a common problem. It's the fact that I can't select exactly which activity I want to do. They just toss you into sort of a jumble of stuff. And even the race series, which you would think would just be a series of races, well, not all of those aren't even all races. Some of them are more just like random checkpoints that they just threw on the map, and you have to go and collect all the checkpoints. It's not a race at all. It's timed, I guess, so they think it's a race, but I don't know. I have no interest in doing that mode at all. I would rather just do some races if I'm going to be racing, not whatever that type of mode is. And the small-scale PvP matches, I really just don't have much use for at all. There's like a small-scale quasi battle royale where they'll give you maybe a bow or some throwing weapons, and there'll be 8 people on the map, and last man standing wins type of deal. And it turns into about 10 minutes of boredom. I really can't stand that match at all either. So there's some winners, there's some losers when it comes to the PvP modes as far as I'm concerned, and the fact that I can't opt out of the ones that I don't want to play unless I completely leave the lobby, and I can't just get into a series of matches that's only what I want to play. I don't like that. There's no reason why they can't just break that up. If I want to just do team deathmatch, just let me go into a series of team deathmatches. I don't want to play all the other modes. Do you know what I mean? It's really not super difficult. I don't know why they can't do that. And again, they have the same problem in this game that they did with GTA Online, where you can go into a party with your friends, and unless you all decide to pick the same team, like you all have to manually select to be on the same team, otherwise you might get split up. What is that? I know some people like to play against their friends, but I think probably 90% of people who go into a competitive PvP match with their friends probably want to be on the same team with their friends. Not rocket science, Rockstar. It should be on by default, but it's not. You have to manually select it. Same crap from GTA. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. Boy, it sounds like I'm pretty negative about this game, huh? And here I was thinking I was having a lot of fun. So maybe I'm not having as much fun as I thought. And like I said at the start of the video, I'm just kind of getting frustrated with the experience overall. And the horse bug it's honestly making me want to quit altogether until maybe they announce some patches. But anyway, I know this is still just a beta and they can fix some stuff, but we'll have to see what happens. I'm not going to mention a certain other game whose beta period didn't really result in too many fixes, but I hope Rockstar does the right thing here, make some of these fixes, fix some of these major bugs, some of these disconnect issues, and of course adjust the in-game economy, which right now is really frustrating a lot of people, myself included. So anyway, I'm Coach Toolshed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. How many of you are playing Red Dead Online? I know some people who watch my channel don't care about multiplayer games at all. I am going to still be covering this a bit, and of course I'm going to be looking at several other games as we move along. But let me know what you guys think about Red Dead Redemption Online. What do you guys think about the game itself? I'm going to be still going back and looking at some of the single player aspects of the game. I want to do some comparison videos coming up, and of course we got some year-end stuff going to be coming up pretty soon. So please subscribe if you want to stay in tune with the channel headed forward. And as always, keep it turned to 11.